All right, there's one thing that he does here, and I see this a lot. I've done it a lot, and it's called like leading the witness. So he's asking, how many competitors do you have now?
Yeah.
And in an ideal world,
so she said 5, and then he says in an ideal
world, and then he leads with 5.
Right.
He doesn't want the answer to be 5. So why are you leading her to say that? Why not ask a more open-ended question?
Right.
In an ideal world,
yeah.
If everything was perfect, how many competitors would you track?
Right.
And then you might get a different answer. If it's still 5, it's still 5.
Yeah.
And then my other point on that we should have found that out earlier when we're not talking about pricing.
Yeah.
So ask about, in a perfect world, how many competitors would you track? She'll probably say 30 at the beginning of the conversation, right? Because then now she knows why you're answering.
Right.
That makes sense.
Caitlin, if you're watching, it'd be very interesting to get your take on what you would have said at the beginning.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point. I think he was fine, personally, to say in a perfect world would still be 5. Mm-hmm. I don't think her number would have changed, but maybe not. I don't know. But I do agree that bringing it up earlier in the conversation would have been very helpful. Mm-hmm. And in general, you've already heard me say this a bunch of times, open-ended question versus closed. Okay.
Let's see, we're getting down to the wire.
I know. This is where it actually gets exciting.
Yeah.
You know that we're actually sales nerds when we're getting excited about this.
Yeah.
Like, it's to be clear with everyone here, it's like it's later at night, 10:30. So for a dude that's like 44 years old, that's like an hour and a half past my bedtime.
Yeah.
And I'm actually really excited right now. So let's watch and see where this goes.
Let's do this.
Okay.
In a perfect world, I would also track the tangential folks just to see if they pivot at any time.
Right, makes sense. But you probably could do that in a draft mode in our tool, some pages and that kind of stuff.
All right, so she actually serves it up herself. She
does.
said that she would be tracking more, and then rebuts with you could do that in drafts, which maybe is helpful, but there's a fine line between helpful and then negotiating.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what? My hat's off to you. You were right on this one.
I got to win one.
I know. I know. I wonder if we're going to give poor Shane a complex here. I think if I were Shane at this point, I'd be like, do you really have to analyze, guys, every single line? But the answer is yes, we do.
And Shane, you're amazing. The thing is, it's just, I don't think it's as valuable to just give compliments the whole time. Right? And we could have done that as well.
Such a good point, Scott.
Yeah, totally.
All right, let's see what else we got here.
Yeah, I don't think that we would need the level of depth that we do for our main competitors, of course.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I was just going to say, curation side, is it just you that's responsible solely for CI?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're probably to sort of put you into pricing mode. These are buckets. Obviously, we can create some custom proposals around your needs. So you're somewhere in between these two, it looks like to me.
Yeah, because I wouldn't want to go growth because I wouldn't be using a lot of this here, but I would need some more users
absolutely
the organization than the starter.
For sure. So what I could do is, so we actually have a la carte pricing track, and then for the first sort of 4 weeks while you're onboarding, we're going to help you create all of those boards and battle cards in that template form. So we actually include up to 10 boards that you could create. So maybe you want to create some market segment boards as well. We're going to help you create battle cards, address the needs. Then we're going to provide training to you on how to curate, but also out to your entire organization in group training sessions to help you build engagement with your sales teams. We generally recommend you find a smaller group to begin with, like 25 sales that you do an initial rollout to, and maybe a few executives as well. And then you cross T's, dot I's, really tighten everything up before you do a broad rollout. It actually helps for two purposes. One is to really nail it for you, but also really to help build engagement, get the sales team, get a few key members excited and talking about things. Mm-hmm. And then, it goes from there.
Awesome.
So I think this whole just discussion is really interesting right now.
Yeah.
Because I think we're trying to negotiate where you don't know where the other person stands,
right,
or what budget they have, and so that forces you to make a lot of assumptions.
Sure.
And I think Shane is making a few assumptions here when he kind of bumped her up to the growth package.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, we wouldn't use all those users.
Right.
So Shane's assumption was, okay, they can't afford the $3,000 a month.
Yeah.
Where in reality, she said she just doesn't have those users. So then when he added the a la carte pricing on, he immediately felt like he had to pull it back.
Right.
But sometimes budget isn't always an issue.
Right.
You know, as salespeople, we just think it is. But sometimes it's not. If you're driving value, you're driving value.
Yeah. Yeah, sales professionals, don't ever negotiate with yourself. And when you're talking with a prospect and you reduce a price without them asking you to reduce a price, don't do that. I mean, it's one thing if you're being a good consultant and it's like, hey, fair pricing is this and this makes sense for you, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you really feel like the solution should be set here, then test that with your customer and see what they say, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
On the same page there.
Okay, great.
So so I have to double check exactly what my budget is for this. Is there any sort of wiggle room?
There can be, for sure. What I would suggest is, of the 200 members of your organization, let's really maybe dial in to who absolutely needs it.
Yeah, because obviously someone like HR, finance, recruiting, like they don't need it, right?
So if you could do me a favor, dig those numbers up. Ballpark is fine, you know, within 25 or so. Get me what those numbers look like. And what I can do is put a custom proposal together. You're in a bit of a unique space for us that and we're always looking for new verticals. So that can go a long way to give me some ammunition to go to bat for you guys on pricing.
Cool.
So I'll definitely you know, see what I can do on that side of things. The Salesforce piece, that's where the wiggle room would come in. Our monthly licensing is a challenging one, and you know, we like because it's a, you know, we've got lots of customers that are already paying within this model. So when we affect that model, there can be some fallout into some of our master services agreements we have with some big customers. But what I can do is play with the Salesforce side of things. So I'll definitely see what I can do there.
Awesome.
Is that something you think you could get approved pretty quickly?
Yeah. I mean, just full disclosure, this is something that I want to like get on immediately because this is such a huge pain point for me personally.
Okay.
So I definitely have the personal motivation to get it through if we can get them.
Okay, Shane, going for a bit of the trial close here, right? Well done.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
So asking her if he's able to get this pricing, is this something that, you know, Caitlin thinks she can get approved? And she's saying absolutely. Going as far as saying this is a real pain point, I'd like to get this solved. Yeah. I don't know about you. I'm seeing that there's 5 minutes left in this call. And so what I'm thinking is everything's looking like all systems go here.
It is.
Yeah.
I think we got ourselves a closed deal.
Well, we both know until there's ink to paper.
Right.
Right?
We got some good next steps.
Yeah, we do. All right. Bring it home, Shane.
Let's
Bring it home.
Right.
Well, keep me in your back pocket as we go forward. You know, whatever you need, I'm happy to run demos for decision makers or sales or anybody else that needs to see it. Who do you think needs to see it other than yourself to sort of get approval?
So basically, I'm going to take this to my boss and I'm going to tell him about it. He may or may not need to see a demo for himself.
Sure.
I'm actually not sure. And
who do you report up to? Is it your boss, the VP?
Yeah. He's head of product marketing and sales enablement.
Okay.
But I mean, that's his title, but he's everything from public relations to investor relations. I mean, he basically covers half the organization.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then I take it to finance and I pitch it to finance to see if they can work it into our budget.
Okay, right on. So what would be helpful? You know what? My CEO will be in shortly. So if you could get me those numbers, I guess you're getting into your afternoon now, but before the end of today, what I can do is put a proposal together based on those numbers, and I'll see what I can do to get it down to $1,500 a month. You mean the fence post, although we're recording this, I'm sure I can get it. I'm sure I can get it down there if our CEO is in a good mood, and I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
And then what we'll do is I'll send it across to you, and then let's see if we can get your VP on a call or a demo if that works for you.
Sure.
Or if you get an approval, just send me the credit card details and we'll go from there. But I'm sure that won't necessarily be the case. And then do you want to book a check-in later this week to see where things are at?
Okay, so we're getting to the crescendo of the close here.
Yeah.
And I can kind of tell by the enthusiasm and the cadence in Shane's voice. Yeah, Shane, he's pumped, but I almost feel like it's too pumped. Like you're getting, if I'm in the customer,
saliva's coming.
a little bit. And so my suggestion here, hey, we're all salespeople. We get excited, right? We want to help our prospect. The prospect's like, yes, this addresses a pain point, and we get excited and we just want to move forward. So I respect that. I think it's great, but I would probably temper the enthusiasm just a little bit.
Yeah. Always going back to that late night DJ.
Late night DJ.
Late night DJ.
Yeah.
Always.
All right.
Even when you're close.
A little bit creepy, but
Little bit.
Okay, let's do this.
Let's meet up in a few days. What day is today? Monday. So if you want to talk Wednesday or Thursday.
Sure. Actually, no, Wednesday, I am good.
All right. I mean, for all of you sales professionals watching, this is just absolutely one of those table stakes, right? You always get a call on the calendar and booked by the end of the meeting, right? And he's doing it. So good job, Shane.
Yeah. And not we're meeting in a few days, not
Right.
we're meeting in a week.
Yeah.
It's we're meeting at this day, at this time.
Yeah.
Here's the calendar.
Yeah. Good job. All right.
Oh, sorry, somebody's moving an invite around on my calendar as we speak, so it's bouncing. How does 11 a.m. Pacific? So you're Central, right?
I am.
So that's 2 your time, 2 p.m.
Let me see.
It's getting on 2 p.m. there right now, right?
Where am I? It's getting on 1 o'clock.
Oh, it's getting on 1. Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. So 1 o'clock, 11 a.m. your time.
Yeah.
That would work well for me on Wednesday.
Okay, perfect. I'll send a meeting and I'll just book it for half an hour. That should be plenty of time.
Yeah, and that way I can at least give you an update of where we're at.
For sure. And then if for some reason your VP wants to see it, then I will keep the full hour open. And if you want to drag him onto the call, I'm happy to run an abbreviated version of this demo and just kind of help you out as needed. So.
Cool. And full disclosure, he has had the full demo with so of course he's leaning that way because that's what he knows. But that doesn't mean that he's opposed to anything else. He just doesn't know about Klue.
Oh, I did not see that coming.
This hurts my heart.
Oh, Shane, how are you feeling right about now, man?
Just sunk.
Okay, all right. Hey, we've all been there.
Yeah.
The game's not over.
No.
Right? We've still got a chance.
Big red flag.
Yeah.
The monster of all red flags that almost didn't get teased out, which is crazy.
Yeah, I almost missed that one, but he got it, right?
Got
So
it,
the decision maker here, or someone with a veto power, really
Yeah.
loves the competition in terms of what they're offering. Now, hasn't seen what Klue can offer yet.
Yeah.
And so, hey, it gives us a great fighting chance.
Yeah.
But isn't this the sales, right? This is just our life in sales and how it goes down.
Yeah.
It doesn't get more raw than this, people.
Yeah.
Right? I
You
feel
think you
shame.
have it in the bag,
Yeah.
and then it gets taken. But
Yeah.
this is when the good, best sales professionals go to work.
How do you
right?
think? Yeah. How do you think he recovers from this?
I'm excited to see.
Me too.
We gotta find a way to get this VP on a demo.
Yeah.
ASAP. Let's see if he makes that.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I think that's really where when we talk is, about how we save you time. Because, you're the one experiencing the pain right now. And that pain trickles down to the entire organization as you put it, right? So if we solve your pain and we give you more effective ways of scaling this and rolling it out to the whole teams, you're going to see a lot of wins. And that's where we win against. That's really where our strength comes in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Interesting. So, I noticed Shane going straight into a playbook, right? It was, okay, I just heard the competitor's name. I heard that someone who has veto power here can actually squash this, and they like the competitor. They haven't seen Klue yet, but they like the competitor so far. And so he goes straight into almost a trap. And hey, I've been there, and I get it. But it's like, go straight into trying to resell to Caitlin why Klue is better than the competitor. And what's kind of cool is he's probably using the Klue solution to do this, right? Because, he's got the competitive intelligence because of the Klue solution. That's cool. I would have played it differently. I would have not been afraid to, and most sales reps, most sales professionals wouldn't do this. So this is what I would advocate, is pausing and being like, okay, can we just explore this for a sec? So you'd mentioned that your boss really liked the competitor. Can I just ask you, what is it about the competitor that he liked? And let's just hear that from Caitlin. She may or may not have the answer, but if she does, man, is that going to help us, right? Because then we're starting to now see things that we know we're going to want to cover in that next demo with her boss.
Yeah.
And so we can get some discovery here without taking her boss's time. So that's probably where I would have gone with it. What do you think, Scott?
I agree. I think this is not the time to go into defensive mode.
Right.
This is actually the time, in my eyes, to create a champion in Caitlin.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's...
But I think she's there. I think she's
totally.
right. Yeah.
So let's just reaffirm that to her. Instead of going into defensive mode, it's just, okay, but we're on board, right? Like you see us as more valuable than company A.
Right.
She says, yes, awesome. How do we win your boss over? Let's make a plan together,
there we go.
and I, on how we're going to do this.
I agree.
And I think Caitlin is someone who would do that.
Yeah.
So you have to read who you're talking to.
Sure. Yeah.
But I think that's when it's like, you almost get this us versus them mentality. It's like, we're a team now.
Right.
So let's go and do this together.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see where it goes from
Let's
here.
see.
Is he going to pull back from this?
I got faith.
I
got
do
faith.
too.
I got it.
So yeah, if we can get the number right, then I would be a huge champion for you guys.
Excellent. Right on. Well, thanks so much, Caitlin. This has been great chatting with you, and we're right at the top of the hour. So I'll send a meeting invite for my time, 11 a.m. Wednesday. I'll send a proposal to you by tomorrow morning.
Okay, great. So
In your inbox by then.
and to confirm, I need to let you know exactly how many users I need. And then is there anything else I owe you?
No, I think that's it. And I will also send you a summary with some points in the slide deck that I use with lots of extra slides in it, so you can use that to share around. It's also got a video actually about how sales could access the intel. So
Cool.
Feel free to share that around with any friendlies in the sales team and see if you can, what they think of it. Because that's, when we show this to sales, we get big thumbs up very regularly.
Yeah, I got a few sales folks in the office I can pop over and pick their brain on.
Cool, very cool. Okay, excellent.
Nicely played, Shane. I love how you suggested bringing some friendlies from the sales team to really have a view of this, because when decisions are made, there's those that approve and there's those that contribute. And if you've got some of the stakeholders already on board, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. I'll be a stickler on that.
You sure?
I think I would actually, knowing that we haven't won over the VP yet.
Yeah.
And knowing that it always helps to get more stakeholders involved.
Sure.
Let's maybe not rely so much on Caitlin having to go do the selling. Why don't we get all those people in a room and make sure that they're all present and just be like, hey, let's do another demo to make sure this is going to happen.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I just don't like when I'm in a selling situation, putting my hands fully into a champion, especially if there's only one.
Right, okay. So you want to get out the vote, and you want to do that by controlling more of the decision than just leaving it in the customer's hands.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I'm not sure if I would play it that way, but I can see the merits of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. Well, let's see where he goes.
So I will look for your email later today. I'll get a proposal to you by tomorrow morning, and we'll talk on Wednesday at 11 o'clock.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your help today. I appreciate it.
No problem. Great chatting with you, Caitlin. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks.
Thanks, Caitlin.
Love it to meet you, Megan.
Great to meet you too.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, so if we're going to just sort of dissect the last part of the call there,
Yeah.
I heard Shane at one point, I think, say, what do you think makes sense as next steps? And I use that as a last ditch effort if I'm not really getting much from the customer. I would prefer to shape that discussion. And, I would do that in terms of saying, I'd like to take a minute now to really understand your decision-making process on this. Mm-hmm. And then let the customer talk. And then I would, and he did a bit of that, right? He found out that finance needs to be involved at some level. His boss, her boss has a veto power at some level here for sure. And so that's good. Mm-hmm. But I'm not sure we had a full understanding of timeline.
Yeah, agreed.
Right? And I think that this is where we can, as sales professionals, lend a little bit of weight in terms of, Shane has had the luxury of seeing a ton of deals close on his watch at Klue. And he's seen the ones that close and the ones that don't. And he can look at the characteristics of the ones that close. And so I think he'd be able to say, in my experience, in terms of next steps, we find it's really important to parse out who are those that make the ultimate decision, mm-hmm. and who are those that contribute to the decision. And typically what we would do is have two different set paths for those folks. Whether it's more of a discussion and a bit of a demo for example, your boss versus the sales org where we might do a more full-blown demo. I just like to shape that discussion a little bit more than Shane did. What are your thoughts?
Totally agree. Anytime you can kind of try and understand the procurement process as much as possible.
Sure, yeah.
You know, like one of my favorite questions, and I think this is from John Barrows, so shout out John Barrows, is when is the last time you made a purchase like this? And can you walk me through that process?
Yeah.
And then it really gets them thinking like, oh, okay, maybe that was, 3 months ago, or maybe never before.
Yeah.
And if it's never before, well, that's another bit of a red flag that maybe we need to get some other people involved as well.
Yeah.
So I think we're saying the same thing, just asked a different way.
Yeah, and I pull that one out of my back pocket, and I coach people to pull out of their back pocket when they're stuck. So first and foremost, I want to hear them talk about and articulate the process for this. If I'm not getting something back, then I'll form the question of, okay, if you were to look at a solution maybe similar to this in the last handful of months that you land on, how did you guys get there? But I only really use that if I'm hitting a brick wall.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, that's great. That's great. So I guess that caps off the closing part of this discussion.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was a lot of fun to listen to.
It was.
That was cool.
Did you find it got more fun at the end?
Yeah, I think that's when everything heats up. And it's funny, as I was watching it, it really hit home the importance of the opening and the closing when we're doing demos. And how important and impactful those were.
Right.
I think a lot of times in the middle, you're showing the product and yada yada. It's hard to differentiate yourself. And I think great sales professionals, as Shane did, differentiate themselves at the beginning, first 5 to 10 minutes, and at the end when they're closing.
Yes.
And that's what I really teased out from this. And I thought Shane did a great job. We were probably harder on him than most. I know you have a great relationship with him, so that's okay. But I thought he did a great job, and I'd be surprised if this one didn't close.
Yeah, no, me as well. So good job, Shane, and thank you for being a good sport and letting us do this. And hats off to Jason, the CEO and co-founder of Klue as well, for letting us do this. And to Caitlin as well, right?
Totally.
OpenGov signed off on this.
OpenGov, thank you.
And so that's great. No, but I would say that yes, the open and close is key. There's no question. But if I were to do a synopsis overall, really good tone, cadence, control of the call. I would have loved to have seen more check-ins and more depth on the check-ins. So not just, hey, what kind of questions do you have at this point, or what do you think so far? But really diving in and being like, after each module of the Klue solution, going and being like, let's just pause here and talk about how would you envision this being deployed? When you think of the different stakeholders within OpenGov, like those kind of things, that's what really helps us.
The hard questions.
Yeah, the hard questions. Yeah, but this has been fun.
Been awesome, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot for inviting replays out. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. And if you need one-on-one personalized coaching, this is your man. Check out replays. And of course, if you enjoyed this, go subscribe to Sales Hacker. And we'll be putting these out every week. So come hang out with us. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Scott.
See you, man. Cheers.